Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 490 based on novel. So let's start. The Yarokai Feraland, which was longed for by countless strong people in the past, is now dilapidated, and the entire mansion is being continuously attacked by the army of foreign evil tribes. I am afraid that it will not be long before the entire mansion will be completely occupied. At that time, the entire Yarokai Wonderland will probably become one of the devil's dens of foreign evil races. Our Lady, the last East Hall, has also fallen. The extraterritorial forces are aggressive, and I am afraid that the large formation outside the main hall will not be able to resist their attack. At most, within one stick of incense, the sacred formation in the main hall will be completely shattered, and we will have no way to retreat at that time. My subordinates implore the Virgin Mary and Fairy Yarokai to take refuge in the center of the immortal realm. Please come out, Lord Heavenly Emperor, to save the entire immortal realm. In the main hall, the Lady of Yarokai was sitting on the Bijong crystal throne with a pale face. Fairy Yarokai stood beside her, her face and aura were equally ugly. It was obvious that the two had gone through several battles, and their aura was wilted. At the same time, the capable soldiers in the Yarokai Feraland below the throne spoke at the same time, but the scarlet wounds on their bodies were particularly shocking. This is the result of the battle with the foreign evil race. If it weren't for the existence of this group of strong men who vowed to defend the Yarokai Feraland, I am afraid that this place would have already become a devil's den. The passages to the immortal realm and the other 6 realms are all blocked, and most of our immortal realms are on the sidelines, and we don't have too many close connections with the other 6 realms. They probably want to eradicate our immortal realm first. After all, our immortal realm and the immortal realm center are quite small in the entire Great Thousand World. There was a deep sense of reluctance and anger in the eyes of Our Lady of Yarokai, but now there was nothing she could do. The power of Our Lady of Yarokai is very strong, but surprisingly, even the strength of these foreign evil races who attacked Yarokai Feraland cannot endanger her, but they seem to have a lot of evil weapons in their hands that are strong enough to resist them, so Yarokai Feraland was restricted just now. Retreat. Hey, Mother of Yarokai, the curse of darkness given to this seat by Lord Heretic God is not for decoration. Pub Future adds. Get out quickly and die. In an instant, just as everyone was talking about how to break the game, the main hall was flashing with the periphery of countless ancient formations of Tianshui, but suddenly dark demonic energy emerged, and there was a strong evil force in the demonic energy, rising into the sky. I'm afraid it's too late. Looking at the incantation with a dark red light in the hands of a ghost in the sea of magic, the pale face of the Lady of Yarokai was even more ugly. The dark demon's weapon, the monstrous evil power, plus this Red King rank and countless evil monsters, I am afraid. I just don't know what's going on with the Flower God Palace and the Moon God Palace. I'll stop them in a while, and you can act as you see fit. If it doesn't work, go directly to the center of the fairy world. This is the key, remember to keep it safe. The Mother of Yarokai stepped out of the throne and secretly handed some things to Fairy Yarokai in a veiled manner. She slowly walked towards the ancient formation of the main hall gate, and the righteousness who saw death as home appeared. Bang bang bang! In the monstrous sea of devils outside the main hall, there was a dark red palm quietly sticking out. Just as the palm came out, the endless breath of death rushed towards the face. Buzz! The terrifying power of fragmentation and erosion caused the void of the entire Yarokai Feraland to tremble. The sky and the earth shattered, the ground shook and collapsed, like the end of the world. Facing the Red King's step that controls the evil weapon of the Dark Demon, the Virgin of Yarokai stepped out in one step, and there was a touch of tranquility in her beautiful eyes. She slowly stared at the sea of magic, as if she was locking the position of the Red King's step. This seat is called the Bone Demon, and at the order of the evil of darkness, I came here to kill the Yarokai Wonderland. If you know each other, hand over the secret key, and I can still give you a full picture of Yarokai Wonderland. In the sea of magic, countless evil monsters quietly crawled down, and after a while, a skinny old man with a dark yellow complexion, slowly holding a dark red rune, stepped out of the sea of magic. The monstrous demonic energy of destruction shook the ancient formation of Tianshui all the time. Teacher, Our Lady. Seeing those viscous and gloomy demonic energy roaring together, the faces of everyone in the main hall were full of astonishment. It seems that under such a terrifying offensive of the Withered Bones demon, the entire Tianshui ancient array is crumbling, and there are traces of shattering at any time. Yarokai! Heavenly King Palm! However, at this moment, The always quiet lady of Yarokai suddenly raised her sleeves and looked at the Red King step in the distance. With a palm of her hand, countless mysterious and complex energies converged, and then she waved it viciously away. Crash! Countless glazed colors gathered in the palm of the hand to form a giant palm that spanned the entire Jade Pool Feraland. The palm was filled with an ancient and sacred halo. Humph! Seeing that Our Lady of Yarokai was still so unrepentant, the withered bone demon sneered and stretched out withered fingers full of withered bones. Similarly, he pointed at the main hall below, and countless demonic energy gathered behind him, and it turned into a bone dragon full of sinister corpse energy in an instant. The bone dragon has a huge body, and even has no flesh and blood. The terrifying power of countless exclusive dark demons is spread over the white bones. Immediately inside the corpse, endless demonic corpse chi gathers, and the momentum is threatening. The bone dragon roared in the sky and let out bursts of sharp roars. The heads of the people who were vaguely shocked like the pollution of their souls broke blood. Suddenly their bodies shook, and they directly bit the big formation in a posture that covered the sky and the sun. Boom! The gloomy bone dragon and the ancient palm gently touched, and the entire Tianshui ancient formation completely collapsed and opened, and a wave of destructive power that moved the soul spread out. Crack! A moment after the attack came into contact, the pale face of the mother of Yarokai twitched, and a mouthful of bright red blood slowly overflowed from the corner of her mouth. With the blessing of the dark magic spell, the Red King rank is really not what he can handle. Our Lady of Yarokai, you lost. As a price, the entire Yarokai Wonderland will be buried with you. Blood was dripping, and there was a hint of sarcasm on the corner of the bone demon's mouth, and then he lightly lifted the incomparably evil dark spell, and circles of dark red energy ripples that were evil enough to easily drown their minds diffuse out, hit the heart directly. Go. Guardian of Our Lady, guard the Yarokai Wonderland. Even if disaster is imminent, none of the strong men in this group of Yarokai Wonderland flinched, and layers of white brilliance paved from them, blooming like fireflies with their final brilliance. The combination of thunder and fire, a huge body suddenly emerged from the void, took the lead to step across, opened his palm and waved at will, violently swallowing up the evil energy. In an instant, the withered bones demon's face turned pale as he looked at the mysterious figure in front of him with thunder and fire. The power of the curse of darkness is the power of the heretic god. Even with his own strength, he would not dare to swallow it without authorization. Xiao Yang, who was sheltered by King Thunder and Fire, pretended to be calm, but the power in his body instantly turned upside down. The evil power released by the curse of darkness just now was too powerful. Even if he was sheltered by holy flame, he secretly used the magic cube to devour it. After a while, a trace of anti-shock power poured out after swallowing it. In other words, it is too severe. The power overflowing from the evil weapons of the semi-evil rank powerhouse is still too reluctant. Xiao Yang. After the energy fluctuations subsided, exclamations came out at the same time. Seeing Xiao Yang, everyone in Yarokai Wonderland couldn't help but wonder, this guy's strength is not strong, how can he be able to deal with the power of the dark magic spell that even the mother of Yarokai is helpless? The other one who was astonished belonged to the withered bones corpse demon. Now he is slowly standing still in the sea of void demons, his eyes fixed on Xiao Yang. With his perception, it is not difficult to find some obscure things in Xiao Yang's body, otherwise the amazing fluctuation just now is enough to solve most of the strong. The Red King rank of the extraterritorial evil clan, quasi-five-fold reincarnation rank. Xiao Yang smiled lightly, and made a very unrestrained appearance, and immediately walked towards the Lady of Yarokai and the others behind him. This guy. I'm afraid he is pretending to be mysterious. My lord, let's launch a general attack. As of now, there is still no news from Huashan Palace and Moon God Palace. If we take the lead in breaking through Yarokai Wonderland and obtain the secret key, we will definitely gain the intimacy of the two evil gods. At that time, the power in our body will be completely stabilized, and the strength will stay at this level forever. In the sea of magic behind him, greedy and fiery evil voices emerged. Obviously, the aura on their bodies was vaguely rippling. Although they were powerful, they had a feeling of pulling the seedlings out. The withered bones demon did not speak, but stared at Xiao Yang, as if thinking about something. 6 holy flames of different colors slowly poured out from Xiao Yang's body, who was attached to the Thunderfire Hell King, and entrenched little by little in front of his chest, forming an ancient sacred flame wave. Yes, not 5, but 6. Another is that Yun Yun temporarily gave Xiao Yang. Now Yueru and the others are quietly hiding in the void of Yarokai Feraland. Once Xiao Yang's plan is broken, they will also take action without hesitation. It's just that the strength of this withered corpse demon is so tyrannical that it is suffocating. With the addition of the curse of darkness, even if everyone joins forces, I am afraid that it will be in jeopardy. This is the scene of Xiao Yang pretending to be so. With the power of many holy flames, can this guy be knocked back? Stop talking nonsense, let's do it. I have long wanted to see what the real Red King rank powerhouses outside the realm have. Xiao Yang smiled lightly, and the 6 colored flames rose slowly. That terrifying power of purification actually purifies the evil aura vaguely, making the void hum and tremble, as if with a random wave, the world would collapse in an instant. The strength of the withered corpse demon is floating. I am afraid that the demon of darkness has taken special measures to pull the seedlings and encourage it. But it is also a quasi-5-fold reincarnation level with the curse of darkness in hand. If he insists on going to war, unless Xiao Yang uses the God Execution Ruler or the power of demons, there is no chance of winning. However, Xiao Yang was more or less clear that there were also different levels of strength in the Red King rank, and something like this, which was comparable to the 4th or quasi-5th level of human reincarnation, should be the pinnacle of the Red King rank. As for the real 5th layer, I am afraid it is the so-called half-evil god, a kind of evil god. Grown-ups. Countless evil voices emerged, seeming to be urging the withered bone corpse to attack. With their current strength, it is only a matter of time before the destruction of the Yarokai Feraland. Why are you making a fool of yourself here? After a long time, the withered bone demon shook his head, his eyes filled with a black light staring at Xiao Yang. You can try it. Even if I need to protect the entire Yarokai Wonderland, killing you is like crushing an ant. Xiao Yang opened his mouth lazily, his eyes were extremely lazy, as if he was telling a very weak thing. In the eyes of countless evil monsters in the Sea of Devils, this kind of contemptuous provocation is like a frivolous and arrogant person, but when it falls in the ears of the withered corpse, it has a different taste. Although Xiao Yang's strength is weak, how could he take such a terrifying attack just now so easily? Grown-ups. Don't miss the opportunity. Feeling Xiao Yang's provocative words, countless evil spirits hidden in the Sea of Demons roared out, the evil forces became restless, and there were faint traces of breaking through the sky. To shut up. Retreat. After a brief hesitation, the withered corpse demon waved his hand viciously, his body was slowly submerged by the Sea of Demons, and he seemed to be ready to leave here. As the leader of the Red King rank among the foreign evil clans, the withered corpse demon naturally knew the terrifying aspect of Xiao Yang in front of him. The king rank powerhouses who fell into his hands, whether it is the Black King, the White King or the Red King, are already close to the number of hands, plus this guy's elusive holy flame fusion fighting skills, etc. There is no certainty of victory. Withered bones the corpse will not shoot. Caution is one of the things he can rely on to become the peak of the Red King rank, but because of caution, I am afraid that he will lose a lot of opportunities. The energy buzzed, and the entire army suddenly disappeared here, but it was astonishing that at this moment, in the entire immortal world, countless evil forces actually converged and moved closer to somewhere. The location there seems to be the center of the fairy world. After the crisis was lifted, many powerful people in Yarokai Wonderland sat on the ground with lingering fears, and there was a buzzing in their minds. They looked at Xiao Yang, who was surrounded by 6 color flames on the sky, and a long-lost shock and respect showed. If Xiao Yang hadn't appeared in time to push back the evil army this time, I'm afraid the entire Yarokai Wonderland would be in a precarious situation. Xiao Yang, thank you very much. At this moment, Fairy Yarokai and others couldn't help but speak softly from the bottom of their hearts. Senior, are you all right? Yueru and Yunyun poured out of the void, surrounded by the mother of Yarokai, and asked patiently. The old man is fine. The lady of Yarokai looked at Xiao Yang with a look of admiration. Xiao Yang stood quietly in the void, as if he was guarding against the sudden attack of the evil army from outside the realm, and responded with a smile to Our Lady of Yarokai and the others. But at this time, Xiao Yang's arms and body were shaking, and even drops of cold sweat dripped gently. Withered bone corpse demon, the strength of the quasi-5-fold reincarnation rank, really lives up to its reputation. Fortunately, the crisis is now over. Yarokai Wonderland began to clean up the mess little by little. As for the core of the Yarokai Virgin, they gathered together, and Yueru and Yunyun were the 2 women to drive away the erosion of evil forces. At the same time, after 3 days in the entire immortal realm, the heaven and the earth began to darken, and at the top of the sky, an abyss like a demon torn out, emerged. In the abyss, countless evil monsters whizzed past, as if gathered at the same time, swept towards the core point somewhere. Looking at the situation there, the people in the originally quiet Yarokai Wonderland sank in their hearts and murmured. Their goal, is it? Fairy World Center? Steel incense. In the abyss, there are countless magic lights blooming slightly, and the light wave of the magic lights will generate some extremely evil energy in this void. Those energies seemed insignificant, but even the eyes of Our Lady of Yarokai shrank slightly involuntarily. The purpose of these guys is the center of the fairy world. Our Lady of Jade Pond sat cross-legged on the ground, her beautiful eyes continued to gather and swept towards the most sacred place in the core of the immortal realm. Her heart trembled strangely. The immortal world center, this is the most powerful place in the entire immortal world. Even if there are few people in the immortal world center, those who can live and stand in it are the real leaders in the immortal world. Except for Our Lady of Yarokai, the palace master of Moon God Palace, and Hua Chinga who left the immortal world center to create their own forces, the immortal world center can be said to be the real pinnacle of existence. As for the top of the entrance, it is because of their gaze, and it is also the intersection of the three heavens and the earth for the last 3 days. Heavenly Fissure. Entrance to Feraland Center. There, it was also the area where Xiao Yang was repelled by a mysterious force and planted a curse of darkness, where 10 eerie coffins were entrenched. At this moment, the cracks in the heavens and the entrance to the center of the fairy world were actually covered by the abyss. A wave of frightening fluctuations slowly descended from the sky, shocking everyone who survived the last 3 days. These guys, even our 3 major forces can't defeat. Why are they targeting the center of the fairy world? Are they crazy? Fairy Yarokai was surprised, but she followed Our Lady of Yarokai into the center of the Feraland, and she knew very well how terrifying the center of the Feraland was. Even the supreme person of the 6th reincarnation level, stepping into it, I am afraid there will be no return, because it is the center of the fairy world, and it is the pinnacle of ruling and managing countless regions in the entire fairy world. There is also the existence of a world master, God. His strength has already reached a glorious level that no one can match. The Flower God Palace and the Moon God Palace have already fallen. The 2 seniors have passed away. Looking at the current scene, Xiao Yang sighed faintly in the distance. Listening to Xiao Yang's deep words, the Lady of Yarokai was exhausted, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Our Lady, condolences. Yueru and Yunyun spoke together, proving that what Xiao Yang said was not fiction. There was a deep sense of relief in the eyes of Our Lady of Yarokai, and it took a long time before she spoke out. The 2 half-evil gods, plus the terrifying lineup of several Red Kings, are enough to pose a real threat to the fairy world. I'm afraid they are really sure. For the center of the fairy world, this is a disaster. The curse of darkness in Xiao Yang's body seemed to have long since disappeared with the start of the war. At this time, his body floated to the side of several people, and his face was equally ugly. 2.5 evil gods. Listening to Xiao Yang's opening, the face of the Lady of Yarokai added a touch of shock and complexity. The immortality of the 2 powerhouses in the past 3 days has weakened the strength of the center of the fairy world, and now the power of this extraterritorial evil clan is even more outrageous, making the Lady of Yarokai worried. Senior, is there any problem? Yunyun was thoughtful, and naturally, through these small actions, she sensed some of the concerns of the Lady of Yarokai. In the Second World War in the past, there were countless extraterritorial evil powerhouses born out of it. Perhaps as time goes by, there are also many talented people born in the extraterritorial region. After all, in that battle, there was no powerhouse at the level of a half-evil god. Fairy Mother Yarokai shook her head, but her hatred for the evil race outside the territory was still strong. Dare to ask the seniors, how many peak-level powerhouses are there outside the realm? It seems that he realized something, Xiao Yang asked. During the Second World War, the extraterritorial evil race appeared and the powerhouse known by the world. A total of 7 heretic gods, 19 red kings, black kings and white kings are countless, and there are about 100 in total. Besides this, there is also a foreign leader. Our Lady of Yarokai tried to recall. 7 evil gods. The leader outside the realm? As soon as this statement came out, everyone was shocked. The strength of the leader outside the realm has already reached the peak of this world, as if he is afraid of something in the Great Thousand World, and finally was forcibly expelled from the Great Thousand World by a group of strong men including the Holy King, and the Second World War was only narrowly won. I'm afraid no one has seen the true face and strength of the leader outside the realm except the group of peak powerhouses of the Holy King. As for the 7 evil gods, they are also well-known existences. Although some of them were seriously injured and fled back to the outside world, some were suppressed in the Great Thousand Worlds, but after these countless years of living, I am afraid that the time for a comeback is very close. There are many geniuses in the world, so why not the world outside the territory? I don't know how their true strength will grow this time. The lady of Yarokai murmured, with all the worry in her voice. When the soldiers come, they will block the water and cover with the soil. Seniors can rest assured. Hearing such heavy words, Xiao Yang took a step forward, showing no doubt of his confidence and righteousness. The four of you, go to the Immortal World Center first. With 3 secret keys and many inheritances, as well as the existence of holy flame power, it should be able to play some role. The last 3 days are now in a panic, and I need to reintegrate these forces, and join us in expelling the outside world. In this battle of the Feraland, we will use our own strength to protect our homeland. With Xiao Yang's inspiring words, the Lady of Yarokai said righteously, "Go." Everyone nodded, and now the plan can only be split up. Hopefully we can survive the catastrophe this time. Chinga, you have long predicted that the immortal world will be completely destroyed in a certain catastrophe. I hope this time, let the strong people in the center of the immortal world protect this world. After all, it is also the realm that we all take care of for countless years. What? The voice sounded countless surviving Yarokai Feraland people, under the assignment of the mother of Yarokai, carried a series of orders, and rushed towards the countless forces in the last 3 days. Its purpose is naturally to integrate these forces and compete with the foreign evil races attacking the immortal world. The number of foreign evil tribes is huge. If you don't gather the power of the entire Feraland, I'm afraid it won't be able to compete with it. Xiao Yang and the 4 of them were blessed with extremely obscure fluctuations. Following the guidance of the Lady of Yarokai, they quietly crossed this world, spared the interception of the abyss and the obstacles of those monsters, and poured into the cracks in the heavens, heading towards the center of the Feraland. The entrance has been set up with an evil formation. If we enter rashly, it will definitely attract the attention of the powerhouses of the extraterritorial evil race. Almost all the evil monsters entrenched in the immortal world are heading towards the center of the immortal world. Once we are discovered, facing these numbers of extraterritorial monsters, the consequences will be unimaginable. Just arrived at the entrance and saw the light mouth leading to the center of the fairy world, Xiao Yang's voice was particularly solemn. The 4 of them hid together in the demon cloud of the abyss. Seeing that the faint light mouth was actually covered with 10 gloomy coffins, they became nervous at the same time. These 10 coffins formed an incomparably evil blood-colored command flag, which stood directly across the crack in the heavens, at the center of the Feraland. Invisibly, there are circles of blood-colored ripples that make people feel excited. In such a tight defense, if you want to enter it, I am afraid it is not an easy task. I have a way. Yarokai Fairy Yarrow Lingdai frowned and said softly. As the only disciple who had followed Our Lady of Yarokai into the center of the immortal world in the last 3 days, Fairy Yarokai raised her palm slowly, and it turned out to be constantly converging under the gaze of everyone. In the blink of an eye, a very mysterious handprint was formed. The handprint just emerged, an extremely surging power, like a mysterious power originating from the Jade Lake Tianqi, covering the 4 bodies, and then slowly walked towards the entrance. This power. The 3 of Xiao Yang looked at each other, because they clearly felt the power covering them. It was not simple. This is the mysterious power of Jade Lake Tianqi. Go. Yarrow Ling quietly took the 4 of them and swept them away together. Strange. Why are there other strange breaths remaining? An illusion. Allow me to be vigilant. Now is the critical time for the 2 adults to kill the powerhouses in the center of the Feraland. Remember not to let any powerhouses pour into the center of the Feraland. Once the center of the Feraland is broken, the Feraland can only crawl under our feet, and all the creatures in this world will be food in our mouth. In the abyss, a series of eerie voices can be heard endlessly, which is suffocating. Obviously, there are too many evil monsters gathered here at this time. With the help of Yarrowling, the 4 of them easily poured into the mouth of light, only to feel that they suddenly came to an extremely dim Feraland after a light and dark experience. This is the so-called Fairy World Center. Xiao Yang raised his head, but did not see anything. In the dim void, there was a hint of gloomy wind, and in their sight, there was only a giant silver gate that spanned the entire world, blocking them in front of everyone. Except for the basic outline of the door frame, the giant door is almost transparent, but the power of ancient vicissitudes contained in it makes the 4 of them look extremely dignified. On the edge of the giant gate, traces of inexplicable black flames kept beating. The evil black flame is the same as the flame on Ming Feng before. It's just that the flames here, whether in power or intensity, are much more tyrannical than those on Ming Feng. Let's come. Just when Xiao Yang and Yarrow Ling were about to make a move, Yu and Yunyun smiled sweetly. Your strength. Although I knew before that the two palace masters sacrificed all their cultivation bases to them, but seeing the bursts of brilliance rising from the two of them, Yarrow Ling couldn't help but envy. It's been a triple reincarnation, and their power is still growing over time, even if they are inexperienced and their combat effectiveness is quite weak, but they control such a huge force. I am afraid that everything will be crushed. Well, please. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he directly sat cross-legged, trying his best to regulate the power in his body. In front of it is just the gate of heaven, which is used to intercept the entrance to the Feraland and the dividing hub of the center of the Feraland. Once they cracked the gate of the heaven, they faced the center of the fairy world. The worst plan, I am afraid it will be an army of foreign evil tribes led by two semi-evil powerhouses. The gate to the heavens has been reversed. I am afraid this is our first test to enter the center of the Feraland. The gate to the heavens is mysterious. It is one of the artifacts of our Feraland, ranking 8th. It is specially used to trouble and intercept the enemy's progress. If you get lost, it is easy to stay here forever. Although Yarrow Ling's strength is not strong, the cognition of the entire immortal world is unparalleled among the four. Yun Yun and Yu Ruyu raised their hands, and their delicate bodies jumped, completely pouring into the gate of heaven. Although the gate of heaven is ancient and powerful, in front of the two of them, I am afraid that it will fail completely in the near future, opening the real center of the fairy world for the four of them. Xiao Yang. The two women disappeared. Looking at Xiao Yang, who was calmly adjusting his breath, Yarrow Ling gritted her silver teeth and walked to Xiao Yang's side with a particularly solemn expression. Seems to be hesitating about something. What's up? Xiao Yang said in a low voice. It seems that this guy has something to say. You must listen carefully to everything I say next. Breathing out a heavy breath, Yarrow Ling patted her chest, as if she had made some important decision. Xiao Yang did not answer, but narrowed his eyes. You carry many kinds of holy flames, don't you? Are you a descendant of the Xiao clan? Two short conversations, but Yarrow Ling just finished asking, her face turned pale, as if she heard something that frightened her. Xiao Yang, do you know why the center of the immortal world is rumored to be the center of the celestial world by many powerful people in the Great Thousand World? Yarrow Ling has no masters, and looks at Xiao Yang with some unease. It has something to do with this gate of heaven. The defense of the gate of heaven is extremely mysterious. Even if I do it myself, I'm afraid it will take a lot of time to crack it. I think it has something to do with this. Xiao Yang adjusted his breath and stood up. Do not. You are wrong. It has nothing to do with the gate of heaven. It has something to do with the Lord of the Heavens. When Yarrow Ling mentioned the so-called Lord of Heaven, his entire body suddenly took a step back, obviously full of deep fear and fear. God! There was a touch of blood in Xiao Yang's eyes, and he said calmly. The strength of the Emperor of Heaven is too terrifying, and he has many titles, the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of the Immortals. The most important thing, he seems to have a grudge against the Xiao family. Crack! Yarrow Ling's words, like a thunderbolt from the blue, struck Xiao Yang's heart viciously. I don't know if there is any misunderstanding between you, but although the Heavenly Emperor keeps telling us to be careful about the center of the human world, he has secretly stepped into the center of the human world more than once. The relationship between them is still a mystery. After Yarrow Ling finished speaking, she couldn't help rubbing her forehead. The scene in front of her seemed to be confusing. According to Our Lady of Yarrow-Kai and herself, as the Lord of the Immortal Realm, the Heavenly Emperor is more ambitious than this territory, so he changed it to the center of the Heavenly Realm, claiming to be the Lord of the Heavenly Realm. Heavenly Emperor secretly concealed all the powerhouses in the center of the fairy world, stepped into the center of the human world alone, and at that time, it seemed to coincide with the chaotic time of the Do Emperor Sifong continent, the predecessor of the endless fire domain controlled by Xiao Yang. I am afraid that at that time and later, some decisions made by the center of the human world, it is not clear whether the rights exercised by the Emperor or others. Because Our Lady of Yarrow-Kai found out after countless secret investigations that during that time, the World Master of the human world seemed to disappear for a period of time, and during that time, the Emperor of Heaven took his place in the center of the human world. These are all secretly known by the Mother of Yarrow-Kai with great means, and she is probably the only one who knows the entire immortal world. It's just that now, even the people in the center of the fairy world don't know the true mind of the Emperor. What does he have to do with the human world realm lord? What are his ambitions? What kind of grievance do you have with the Xiao family? It seems that everything has become confusing. The sound of crystal blocks shattering sounded from the void in front of him, and the seemingly stable gate to the heavens in front of him suddenly shattered a little at this time. This kind of artifact naturally won't break easily, and the appearance now is just a sign that the two women have cracked the gate to the heavens together. The gate to the heavens has been broken. Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes and seemed a little puzzled. Enter the Immortal World Center later. Remember to keep your distance from the Heavenly Emperor, and don't reveal your identity as a descendant of the Xiao clan. Never mind. This is a thin ice silk tool, an immortal tool for disguising. You can hurry up and save some unnecessary troubles. After thinking for a moment, Yarrow Ling shook her head gently, and took out a cold silk scarf like a veil from her arms. Seeing Yarrow Lingy asking, Xiao Yang had no choice but to obey. However, just after using this fairy weapon, Xiao Yang's face suddenly had some mysterious power, and a rather simple face mask appeared, which completely merged with his face. This thing, even we can't find it. Yunyun and Yueru looked at Xiao Yang, who was under Qiao Zhuang, and the whole person's appearance had undergone earth-shaking changes, even they could not feel the subtlety. I am afraid that as long as Xiao Yang does not actively release the breath of the Xiao clan or remove the veil, ordinary people will not be able to discover Xiao Yang's true identity. Let's go. The Gate of Heaven is extremely mysterious. Although it has been corroded by evil forces, it is not a big problem. Together, the two of us have only torn out a passage. After solving the worries, Yunyun smiled sweetly. Go. Someone is coming. Just after all this was done, the void suddenly distorted, and pieces of black demonic clouds came from the air, and the evil aura that accompanied it made Xiao Yang's complexion extremely ugly. The four of them jumped up, stepped into the Gate of the Heaven, and completely poured into the center of the fairy world. With the disappearance of Xiao Yang and others, those evil auras did not step into this place in the end. It seems that their purpose and mission are to protect the abyss outside. After a bizarre experience, the center of the fairy world quietly appeared in front of Xiao Yang and the others. Is this the so-called Feraland Center? Extremely brilliant, sacred, and refreshing, it is simply a holy place for cultivation that countless people dream of. Just poured into it through the Gate of the Heavens, and came to the center of the Feraland, a stream of refreshing heaven and earth energy slowly overflowed from the void and quietly penetrated into Xiao Yang's body. An indescribable comfort emerged throughout the body. Even the power of reincarnation, which has always been without any movement, has increased a lot because of this. The energy of heaven and earth in the center of this Feraland is too rich. Looking around, the so-called Feraland Center has no mountains or rivers at all, but only stands in front of it like a never-ending passage. Here, although there is a rich and abundant energy of heaven and earth, all the soul perceptions of Xiao Yang and others seem to be restricted by certain rules and can't be of any use at all. Half-step immortal soul power is limited. The void in the center of the immortal realm, I am afraid there is really another mystery. This is the center of the fairy world. Appearing in front of us is the glazed lamp, which is like a cylindrical passage, but there are hidden secrets inside. There are a total of 16 shrines in the glazed glass road, which are the habitats of the 16 great powers in the center of the fairy world. Each shrine looks simple, but it contains hidden secrets. Because those who can live here have at least a 4th level strength, each shrine is a small world established by digital powers. Yarrow Ling opened her mouth softly, and when she introduced the Liuli Dian Dao and the 16 shrines, she couldn't help but feel some pride in her mouth. 16 shrines, 16 small worlds, these are all the most powerful and huge in the immortal world, and this is the real heritage of the immortal world. 16 great powers, their strength is at least above the 4th layer reincarnation rank. Even if such a lineup is placed anywhere in the Great Thousand World, I am afraid it is enough to walk sideways. 16 strong men above the 4th layer reincarnation rank, even if you exclude the 4 including the Lady of Yarokai, there are still 12. Such a lineup. It is impossible for 2 half-evil gods to deal with it. What are they thinking? Looking at the shocking world in front of him, Xiao Yang couldn't help shaking his head. This extraterritorial evil clan's aggressive attack on the center of the immortal realm will definitely not be unprepared. But judging from the information currently in control, the extraterritorial evil clan's attack this time is clearly like a death sentence. The deputy world master of the center of the fairy world, known as the of war in the fairy world, King Shura, his strength, to a certain extent, even surpasses the Emperor of Heaven. However, since the end of the war between heaven and earth, he has spontaneously guarded the edge of the crack in our immortal world and intercepted the evil races outside the territory. In addition to this, there should be 11 great powers in the center of immortal world today. Yarrow Ling looked at the passage world in front of her and made a sound. Even she knows very little about this glazed lamp, but she only told a lot of information she knew. Be careful, the 2 half-evil gods have been here for a long time, I'm afraid this place is already in danger. Xiao Yang looked vigilant, but without his soul power, he undoubtedly broke one of Xiao Yang's arms. Let's go. As soon as the words fell, the four of them left together facing the 16 shrines in front of them. The 16 shrines seem to be far apart from each other, but they are closely connected in secret, and due to the constraints of the rules of this void, they cannot directly enter the shrine where the emperor is located, and can only approach them one by one. The 16th shrine, the residence of Lingdai Immortal Master. Before stepping into this shrine, just looking at the majestic plaque, an aura of awe swept through my heart. Spirit Butterfly Immortal Master tames Spirit Butterfly. He is specially responsible for collecting all kinds of information from the Immortal World Center. He is a very gentle and beautiful big sister. Let's go and see first. Yarrow Ling's memory poured out, the corner of her mouth smiled, and she stepped into it with several people at the same time. Woohoo! I just stepped into the residence of the Lingdai Immortal Master, and my body was spinning for a while, and a small world appeared in front of my eyes. At the top of the towering mountains, there is a forest courtyard with lush branches. At this time, a dying spirit butterfly appeared in the sight of Xiao Yang and the four. The wings of those spirit butterflies were even on the body, and the black flames covered their bodies with burning scars, which was terrible. It seems that the situation in the center of the fairy world is much more severe than I imagined. A hint of pity suddenly appeared in Xiao Yang's heart, and then the expressions of the four of them became solemn together. He looked at the only wooden house in the center of the forest courtyard. There was still a faint blue light. And Yarrow Ling clearly remembered that the blue halo was naturally the origin of the Spirit Butterfly Immortal Master. A touch of unease lingered in his heart, and even Yarrow Ling's mouth was muttering to himself, as if he was praying something. This video will end here.